Good morning, dear students. In this session, let us learn about D.H. Lawrence, the English poet. In this session, we are going to learn the formative influences on D.H. Lawrence, the poet. We try to understand the features of his poetry and the literary works of the poet D.H. Lawrence, and we familiarize ourselves with the personal life of the poet. After going through this session, we learn the formative influences on D.H. Lawrence, and we learn the innovative features of his poetry, and we also learn the D.H. Lawrence's contribution to literature, and we learn about his disturbed life and some controversial works. D.H. Lawrence was born in the year 1885 in Easterwood. It is a mining village in Nottinghamshire province in England. His parents were ill-matched. His mother was a very dominating lady. She had the upper hand in the family. She frowned on D.H. Lawrence's relationship with a girl or a classmate called Jessie Chambers. She was his classmate and she was very intelligent and a sensitive girl. D.H. Lawrence loved that girl. When his mother came to know about this relationship, she got very angry with D.H. Lawrence. And D.H. Lawrence had an attachment to his mother. And he lost his mother in the year 1911. He was a bit disturbed after the death of his mother. And in the year 1912, D.H. Lawrence fled with Friday Weekly, a lady by name Friday Weekly. She was a wife of a professor from Germany. When he met her for the first time, he felt that she was the right lady he was searching for. So the friendship developed between these two. And she fled with D.H. Lawrence, leaving behind her husband and her children. First they went to Germany. From there they went to Sri Lanka, then to Australia, and later they came to New Mexico. They moved from one country to another. They were on the move. And D.H. Lawrence at first worked as a clerk. Later he became a teacher. He was a very innovative teacher in the school. And later he became a writer. He has written poems, novels, stories, and even some personal letters. He returned to England in the year 1914. And during the First World War, he was suspected to be German spy because his wife was German. So the British Army asked him to leave England. So D.H. Lawrence left England and went to Italy. He lived in Italy for a long time and he died in the year 1930 in Italy due to his illness. Let us look into the features of his poetry. D.H. Lawrence earlier considered a novel as of prime importance, but later he realized the value of poetry. In his poems and novels, he treats the same subjects or writes about the same subject both in his poetry and novels. He wrote poems throughout his life. He wrote poems when he was a young man. He wrote poems when he was a middle-aged man. Even during his last days, he wrote so many poems. His poems, just like his novels, are personal and also autobiographical. We find autobiographical elements and personal elements in his poems, just like we find personal elements in his novels. Each of his poetry collections is clearly related uh, to different phases of his life. Each of his poetry collections is related to different phases of his life. His early poems are on his love affair, and they are also about the grief for the death of his mother. And some of his poems are on natural world, like birds, animals, trees, and other things. But his later poems are on religion. During the last phase of his life, he wrote poems on religion. He turned to religion towards the end of his life. And his earlier poems are often rhymed. He followed the set traditions in the early stage of his writing career. But later on, he became a revolutionary and he opposed everything that was conventional. That is why he wrote his later poems in free verse. And he writes on physical and inner life of plants and animals. Most of his poems are on plants and animals. They are about the physical life of the plants and animals and also about the inner life of the plants and animals. He is very sarcastic, bitterly sarcastic in his views. He expresses his outrage on conventions. He always opposed the set traditions or conventions, and he was a man of radical outlook. He wanted to bring in changes. He was a revolutionary. Let us know his views on poetry, his opinions on poetry. Poetry is a means to express his relations with the world. D.H. Lawrence says poetry is a means to express his relations with the world. He uses it as a means, a medium, and he feels it is quite futile to reduce poetry to rules or keep a poem in order. This attitude of D.H. Lawrence shows that he opposed the set traditions of poem writing. He says it is futile waste to reduce poetry to the rules. While writing a poem, much importance is given to the way in which a poem should be written. Much importance is given to the form than to the content. But D.H. Lawrence says importance should not be given to the rules or form of the poem. And there is no need to keep the poem in order. Writing everything in order is not necessary. We have to express our feelings and emotions as they come to us. They come to us quite naturally, and we have to express them quite naturally in the form of poetry. And we should not think and plan and write a poem. That is his views on poetry. According to him, new poetry attempts to reproduce the unspeakable vibrations of living Zam. He had a very innovative opinion on production of poems. Unspeakable vibrations. Poetry is an unspeakable vibration. We cannot plan and think and write. Poetry is something unspeakable vibration which comes to us quite naturally. It is the living Zam. Zam is a devotional song. Very, very valuable. It is a living song which comes to us quite naturally, and it is unspeakable. We cannot speak and express it. It is a vibration which comes to us quite naturally without our planning or without giving any intimation. It comes to us. So he defines poetry as pure passionate experience. According to D.H. Lawrence, poetry is pure passionate experience. It is our passion which is expressed. It is not modified. Whatever we feel, whatever we experience, it is pure, and it should be expressed as it is without making any modification to that. That is why he calls this pure passionate experience a demon. You know the demons, some supernatural elements which haunt us or trouble us without giving any intimation, and we cannot do away with them, we cannot escape from them whenever they haunt us or trouble us. Similarly, these passions, unspeakable vibrations of poetry come to us, we cannot avoid them. They are the pure passionate experiences. They come to us and we have to express them. There is no other way for every writer to escape from it. That is his views on poetry. Besides all these things, D.H. Lawrence abandons the masks altogether in writing poetry. He doesn't want to wear masks or use the spokespersons. Whatever he wants to say, he speaks directly, straightforward. He doesn't want to wear any masks or use the mouthpieces in his poems. He creates an organic or expressive form to express his naked, passionate experience. So, in his poems, D.H. Lawrence expresses his naked, bare, passionate experience. Natural experiences which are very, very passionate are expressed in his poems. So, he believed in blood more than reason. This is very important. D.H. Lawrence believed more in blood than in reason. Blood is our emotions or instinct which come naturally to us. But reasoning is a thought process, a planning. It is related to head. But emotions are related to our blood. So he believed more in blood than in reason. He gives much importance to our own feelings, emotions, and passions, not to our intellect. According to him, passions, emotions are more important than the intellect. But equally, knew that both needed in life. He knew very well that both blood and reason, emotions and intellect are needed in life. A great deal of his works were written under the actual pressure of immediate emotions. Most of his poems or novels were written under the actual pressure of immediate emotions. He had a pressure of his own emotions. These pressures, emotions, compelled him to write poems or his novels. There was an immediate need to express himself because of the pressure. So whenever he wrote these poems or novels, there was an actual pressure on him, and it was the immediate emotion which was expressed in his poems. There was no time for him to revise, reform, and give a new shape to his emotions. So in his poems, we find the pure emotions, not modified emotions. That is why his poems are raw material. They are often refined. In the beginning, he might have refined one or two poems, but most of his poems are not refined. They are the raw emotions expressed, and not emotion recollected in tranquility. This is the definition of poem given by Wordsworth, a romantic English poet. Wordsworth says, poetry is emotion recollected in tranquility. The poet had an experience long back. He remembers it on one particular day when he was free, or in peace of mind, in tranquility. He recollects it. There is enough time for the poet to recollect his past and record it. While recording, the Wordsworth can make certain modifications. He can make use of his intellect, but D.H. Lawrence cannot recollect. He does not talk about recollection. He talks about immediate emotions, recording of immediate emotions as they come to him. They are raw experiences. That is the difference that we find between Wordsworth and D.H. Lawrence in their views on poems or poetry. D.H. Lawrence felt England's was a collapsing civilization. He was not happy with the civilization of the English people. He thought that English have a collapsing civilization. He finds fault with the British civilization. So he had a plan of building Rannan Inn. Rannan Inn is an idealistic state, an utopia, an imaginary state. But he could not act upon that idealistic state or utopia. He had a plan of building it, but he could not execute it. He wanted to be Messiah to the English people. He wanted to convey a message to the English people. He wanted to be a messenger to the English people, but he could not. In one of his letters he wrote, he prayed God, "O Lord, I do so break my heart over England. I do so break my heart over England, O Lord. I do write because I want folk, English folk, to alter and have more sense." This statement by D.H. Lawrence very clearly tells us that he was not happy with the English people. He wanted them to change or alter, and according to him, they were almost senseless. He wanted them to have some more sense. So he was not at all happy with the English people and English civilization. That is why he had his own concept of utopia or an idealistic state. But unfortunately, he was not able to execute it. Let us look into the poetic influences on D.H. Lawrence. His early poems reflect the influence of Ezra Pound and Imagist movement. We find the influence of Ezra Pound and early Imagist movement writers. And we find the influence of Walt Whitman of America. He was a free verse poet. And D.H. Lawrence was influenced by Walt Whitman and his free verse. So he followed the free verse in his poems. And his poems echo the themes and styles of Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy is another English poet who wrote poems and novels before him. There are echoes of Thomas Hardy in his poems and novels. There is one more English poet who influenced D.H. Lawrence. That is William Blake, a romantic poet who wrote poems based on biblical influences. Similarly, we find the influence of William Blake on D.H. Lawrence. He was also influenced by the nature poetry of the Georgians of his time. Georgians are the group of people who gave importance to nature. So he was very much influenced by the Georgians. That is why D.H. Lawrence started writing poems on nature and natural elements. Let us look into D.H. Lawrence's contribution to poetry. Yes, we learnt in the previous slides that he wrote poems throughout his career. First, he wrote love poems and others in the year 1913. And then he published another collection of poems, Look, We Have Come Through. It was published in the year 1917. It is a collection of love poems about his wife. And later in the year 1916, he published another collection of poems called Amours. This collection of poems was published in 1916. They are the love poems. We find the glimpses of perfect relation of opposites in these poems. In the year 1923, D.H. Lawrence published a collection of poems titled Birds, Beasts and Flowers. These are all the natural elements, birds, beasts and flowers. In this collection, he treats physical and inner lives of plants and animals. And he wrote Fancies, a collection of poems in 1929, and it was banned. And he published many other collections of poems. Let us revise whatever we learnt about D.H. Lawrence in this session. D.H. Lawrence poems are essentially personal and subjective. This is one thing that we learnt. His poems are autobiographical or subjective in nature. It is personal in a way, more immediate but less artistically absorbed. His poems are personal in nature. In his poems, he expresses his immediate experiences, immediate emotions, and his poems are less artistically absorbed. We do not find any artistic element in his poems. He doesn't give importance to artistic writing, but he gives importance to his own emotions, immediate emotions and feelings. He seems often to use poetry as a means of setting down his raw emotional states. In his poems, he expresses his raw emotional states. He produced a large body of interesting, original, at times extremely powerful verse. Let us try to assess our understanding of D.H. Lawrence by answering some of the questions. D.H. Lawrence had more faith in blood than in nature, people, reason, emotions. Let us see the answer. Yes. D.H. Lawrence had more faith in blood than in reason. In which of his poems collections Lawrence wrote about his wife? Amours, Fancies, Love Poems and others. Look, we have come through. Look, we have come through is a collection of poems in which he has written about his wife. D.H. Lawrence's wife belonged to which of the following countries? Italy, England, Germany, Mexico. His wife belonged to Germany. The poems of D.H. Lawrence are personal, rational, national, objective. His poems are personal in nature. The English poet who influenced D.H. Lawrence was Walt Whitman, Ezra Pound, Amy Lowell, William Blake. William Blake is the English poet who influenced D.H. Lawrence. And these are the books that I refer to for preparation of this presentation. Thank you for listening.